I don't think that AI has really reached its ability to be able to be hands-off effective. So the way that I see AI right now is it's an efficiency mechanism, meaning partnered with people instead of having three people do a job, partnered with AI catching the majority of what you need to look at and putting it in front of you, you can trim that down to a 1.5 person job.
Losing dental claims? It's time to get a grip on it. In each episode, we bring you real conversations with revenue leaders, billing pros, and operators who've battled claim confusion and won. Whether it's strategy, workflows, or tools that actually work, we are here to help you streamline your billing, recover lost revenue, and lead a high-performing team. Let's dive right in and get a grip on it.
Welcome to Get a Grip on Claims. My name is Shane Billings, and this is my brother Brad Billings, and together we make
The dental billing.
the Dental Billings. Okay, so Brad, you grew up really in an interesting household, I hear.
It wasn't like abnormal. I think that we just were very bold in our childhood. We did, like nowadays, kids can't go around the corner, and when we were growing up, but I mean, I like rode my bike, 16 miles sometimes just to go do things.
Do you remember that the neighbors wouldn't let us in their house?
Yeah.
All of them?
Until I found their cat dead in a ditch.
They're like, come on in.
Well, they gave me $100 because I found their cat. Even though it was dead, I still found their cat. It had been missing, and I gained their trust with a dead cat.
You could have killed the cat and brought him the cat.
They don't know.
$100.
I didn't. Just to be clear, I would never kill a cat.
If the
But I
police
could have.
listening-
You're right. I could have been the
could've-
murderer and then been like, it's over there in the ditch.
I think so. There was that one time I saw a blowfish all bloated on the beach because there was a beach really
Oh, don't
within
touch
walking
those,
distance
yeah.
on the bay. What's
Yeah.
that?
I said, don't touch those. They're poisonous. Well, I think
They're
don't eat them.
poisonous.
I don't really know.
But what you can do with a big old bloated blowfish is you can take a big old cinder block and drop it on the big old blowfish.
Yeah,
And
they're already
and
dead.
They
'cause they're-
explode. They explode and they make a loud noise.
Oh, I didn't know that. We used to find the jellyfish because the shoreline would recede, and so that the jellyfish would solidify in a ghost shape, and you stab them with sticks. We used to do that.
Okay. So, do you remember when we went camping in the winter?
With the knife, the guy that chased us
The
with
guy
the
with
knife.
the knife. So this is a great story. I'll tell parts of it. You can finish it off. So we went camping on the beach in Pensacola, right on the water, on the bay, or on the ocean. With like the wind was blowing. It's just beautiful. And one of the scouts we were with says he had a great idea, and he started telling this scary story about how there was a murderer on the loose in the area. And he's like,
They're here.
if he walks the beaches and finds scouts and kills them. And we were like, no. So we went out and we were on the beach and we looked in the distance and there was this guy. And we were like, there's a guy. And then somebody was like, he's got something in his hand. Like literally I could barely make him out. He was that far away. And he's got a knife in his hand. And we were like, yeah, he's got a knife. And we just all started chucking. We're just all running. And I remember you were ahead of me, and
Yep.
there were these dunes, and I remember this general feeling of like up and down because I was going so fast, up and down, and then I ran right by you and grabbed the lantern you were holding and just took off faster than you. I was like, I've got to save this lantern. Said, not my brother who's slower
Save
than
the
me.
lantern.
Save the lantern. So I grabbed the lantern because clearly that was important. Maybe it was slowing you up. And
I
then
think that you were trying to save me by lightening my load. That's what I think.
And here's the best part. The next day, we never found the killer. We just all locked ourselves in the van and made sure that he couldn't get in. But the next day, we found frozen jellyfish on the beach, which make a great jellyfish fight. And so we had a great jellyfish fight.
Yeah.
And we came home smelling so good.
Oh my gosh. I remember that. We never, so other than that one time that I was hanging out with you and your degenerate friends camping, I've never had a jellyfish fight. That was the only time.
But you only need one. I mean, it's not like you.
That was it. That's all. Yeah.
Fight.
One time jellyfish
I
fight.
just want to take this time to apologize for not saving you, but saving the land.
I remember because I was, I don't even know, 6 years younger than you, 4 years. And so I'm like 9 and you're like 13.
I was older. I was like, I was 15, but you were probably like 12.
But maybe 12. But from 9 to 13, I was like obese. So you guys are cooking up and down hills, and I'm like, I can't even. The guy with the knife's gonna kill me.
And Dad was there. Like, where's Brad?
Dad didn't.
Who?
Dad cared not. We're like, Dad, there's a guy with a knife out there. He's like, okay, go to bed. No, he's like right there. He just stabbed Jimmy. I know. Go to bed. Okay, I'm tired. Go to bed.
Yeah, that was fun.
Dad didn't care about.
And then our sister.
Oh, her stories are hilarious. So for those of the listeners, all of our 7 listeners that don't know anything about our childhood, we grew up in walking distance from the bay in Florida, and we owned a canoe. And we'd carry this canoe with friends on our heads down to the bay and then go paddling out in the bay. And, Shane and I, we'd been, classically trained through the scouting organization on how to flip a submerged canoe in the water because they tip over. Our sister, however, had not been trained, nor did she know the limits that you should be, because if you go out in the bay too far, you end up in the Gulf. So you don't want to go out too far or the water gets really rough. And so I used to take the canoe all the time, and Summer got real mad because I never invited her because we'd take my friends out. So she decided to take her friends out one time. And so she goes out there, and I knew she went out there. Mom knew she went out there, but I think Mom knew I think I might have told Mom because I don't think Mom would have let her go. And then 3 hours later, Summer's still not back. So we're like, what happened to Summer? So we walked around the block, that entrance. You walk all the way around the block, and there's that busted boat ramp that goes down next to everybody's house over there. And we drove the car around. We didn't walk. Mom didn't ever walk around the block. So we drive the car to that entrance where we think that she would probably be pulling the canoe into, and the Coast Guard is rolling in, and they have our canoe on the side of their boat because they had to save Summer because she went out too far and was in the rough waters almost in the Gulf, and then flipped the canoe with all of her friends and basically was just gonna die. And this is pre-cell phone or anything, so it's not like you could call anybody. So the Coast Guard luckily found him.
Yeah. How old
and
was
brought
she?
him back home. You were gone.
Old
You were
enough to
gone.
know better?
Yeah, she was. So I was probably 15, so she was probably 16, 17.
So I have to
Depending
say, thank goodness for the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
That is
True.
money well spent with my taxes, saving my
Yep,
sister.
saved my sister. Yeah, anybody that was paying taxes back in 1995, I apologize for that monetary spend on my sister's life saving. So.
But we're appreciative. Okay, hey Brad, I got a question about dental billing.
All right, let's do it.
What do you think about balancing automation and with human review in a billing workflow?
This is a really big question, so I'm going to try to not go. I'm going to stay high level.
Stay high level.
I'm not going to try to get super deep into it because as you move into layers, I believe that AI and automation have very specific possibilities. So right now, I know there's a ton of companies working on AI integrations into PRMs, a lot of them, and there's other AI integrations into dentistry. They're doing like X-ray and image review to help doctors pre-diagnose and not miss diagnoses and just all kinds of AI stuff. My personal opinion on that right now is it's not big enough to turn over. Like there has to be people involved. If you were to just turn it over, there's so many nuances to it. I don't think that AI has really reached its ability to be able to be hands-off effective. So the way that I see AI right now is it's an efficiency mechanism, meaning partnered with people, instead of having 3 people do a job, partnered with AI catching the majority of what you need to look at and putting it in front of you, you can trim that down to, a 1.5 person job in a large company. Things
So it
like
makes you
that.
more efficient.
Yeah, it makes you more efficient. It's starting to find things that are standard mistakes faster and more efficiently than what people
Like
are
a
doing.
second set of eyes.
Yeah. And I talked to a company while I was out in Chicago this last week at Becker's Dental Review, and they're trying to automate claim submission and then automate the posting of it as well. And they were asking all of us. I went as a dental corporation owner, and so they were asking us, what are we missing here? What are we missing here? And everybody wasn't, you're missing something. The questions were just like, what if this happens? And they were like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Or what if this happens? Oh yeah, that's a good point. So what if we do submit a claim and they have a credit left? We don't want them to automatically refund the patient, because what if the patient has pending treatment that they agreed to do, and that claim submission and that credit align to this other section, and there's no notes because our office sucks at doing notes. So how does AI know to hang on to that money and not refund it to the patient? And there's a lot of that in dentistry. Office managers that know patients and don't take good notes, but know everything about their patient base. I personally think that's the wrong way to run a business, but there's a lot of that in dentistry. So that makes AI very ineffective. And then secondarily, the other in revenue cycle management, insurance companies care very little about technology. Some of these companies still require paper forms for claim submission. So you can't have technology other than to fill out that paper form and then send that paper form off. That you can't pull any data out of those insurance companies because there's no data to be pulled there. You're just submitting it all through paper. Yeah. So there's just barriers in dentistry that are limiting like the super growth of AI. So the way that I see it right now is just an efficiency play. I'm not saying it won't ever get there, and there's a lot of companies trying to bridge that gap. It's not there yet.
It's a step, but it's not quite to the point where it's the magic bullet, right? People are still needed. You still have to think and be on your feet and use good judgment. And I believe we're still smarter than AI. I think AI maybe have more access to data.
For the time being.
For the time being, I do believe that we are. AI tends to make a decision and move. It doesn't tend to think through ramifications or different possibilities. It picks one and goes. And I think that's the biggest advantage that we have so far. But I, for one, welcome our new AI overlords.
Yeah, me too. I was just waiting for them to...
I mean, if they're watching, I welcome them.
If they're listening,
if they're listening,
or... Love it.
Okay. Well, thanks, Brad. We'll come again and talk to, more questions about RCM and share more family stories.
Love it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Get a Grip on Claims. If today's episode helped you rethink how your team handles billing, don't forget to follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. For more tools, insights, and claim-saving strategies, head over to agripon.com. Until next time, stay sharp, stay structured, and keep a grip on your claims.